So the apartments I've been living in lately in Indonesia have all had one of these apartment undersink grease traps. And two of them have needed cleaning, and I didn't know I could or was supposed to clean them. So this video is for alternate reality Brandon, who hasn't figured it out yet, since all the other videos on these things seem to be in Indonesian. So grease traps are commonly mandated in North American restaurants and not in residential homes. Apparently, North Americans don't cook at home enough for fat and grease to make it worth it, I guess. Here in Indonesia, they seem to be more common. You know, people do cook with basically everything is fried. So I guess it makes sense here that it's more common to need a grease trap. My guess is it may be mandated in new construction. As the name implies, they trap grease, and they'll also catch anything else solid that gets washed down the drain. The idea is to prevent the grease and fat from solidifying somewhere else in the plumbing or sewer system, causing the blockage. They are surprisingly simple and cheap. It's basically a plastic box with a tiny plastic basket, some dividers, and a lid. Here in a schematic, you can see the basket catches things, and it's designed for you to be able to slide it out of the way of the input pipe in order to lift it out to empty. Fat will congeal to the tops of the first two chambers, and sometimes you do have to take the fat behind the basket. You have to clean that out in order to take the basket out. The one I have in my apartment now sells for 25 US dollars, cheap. When they are emptied regularly, they haven't smelled or leaked, but when they're clogged or improperly sealed, they smell. For emptying it, I just used gloves. I suppose you could use a plastic bag to protect your hand. And I just emptied out the stuff of the basket and the chunks of fat. For the one that was really clogged, basically the first two compartments and the basket were just one giant thing of fat, and the outside the basket was covered in fat. Inside of the chambers were covered in fat. Fat was just everywhere. I think it filled two plastic grocery bags full. Normally it's like a quarter of a bag when I clean these things. Anyways, I thought this was interesting and hopefully informative for someone else English speaking staying in Indonesia. Cheers.